Hey guys, what it is yo girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, helping. Because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all face too bleak. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I'm coming through today. May the 29th, 2025. Just got off of work. I got me some notes, girl, because I was able to, think about my next topic a little bit, because the Froyo frozen yogurt place I was in, it wasn't too busy. You have a person here and there, not too much going on, and I love that. Like that takes me back to this. This takes me back to when I worked at the Super Center. Y'all know I would be the door greeter, and I would have a little clipboard in my hand, and I would just write out. And receipt papers, I used to write Marcello on receipt papers, which is crazy. We may have some like in his stuff he sent home. I used to write him letters. Like now, prison wives, there's no letter writing. It's emails now. And letter writing was pretty much free. Now them emails ain't, girl. They charge you per page. But I would write that. I would write my verses, because I was Cadillac, the hottest female rapper out of Orlando. I'd be writing my verses. I used to sketch and everything. So this brings back memories. So whenever there was a job that was so freaking goddamn boring, my mind, those wheels go to turning and stuff. So same thing happened today. Okay, so this is the second question. Remember, I told you I gathered some questions from Google for prison wives. So feel free to check out the last one that will be linked in the description box. That one did pretty good, so I guess you guys enjoyed it. So here's question number 2. What are your expectations for your husband coming home? Okay. If you had, I'm going to read this, and then I did not get to finish. So after that, I'm going to freestyle, girl, which means we're going to be all over the world and back, because it's hard for me to stay on track. That rhymed, and I wasn't even trying, girl. But it's hard for Cadillac to stay on track. So I'm going to read. That's why I like the fact of writing it out. I'm going to read what I have, and then I'll just expand. Okay. If you had asked me that even just a couple years back, that question would have taken me aback, for the simple fact that his sentence is so long. Imagine being on the longest road trip of your life, on one of the darkest roads ever traveled by man. No end to the road in sight. To stay awake, not distracted, on the road and alert, you can't really just focus on the destination. This reminds me of the long trips my family would make from Florida to Chicago. And a few days later, turn right back around and make the long journey back home. We would be cramped up, packed in with our luggage. And as I got older, just like in prison wife life, because it's a difference in a young prison wife and an older prison wife, girl. Whew. It got much, much more difficult to make long road trips. In prison wife, which is like the road trip, I'm likening it to a sentence. A long sentence. Okay. In prison wife sense, at a certain point, you begin to get impatient, especially when you get to see many others seem like everyone around me. Other prison wives really get to exit the road. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta play plug a verse right here. I'm sorry, because it goes exactly with that. Okay. It's been some time, sister, just sent him up the road, held the creek without a paddle. But I stayed on my grind, steady hustle, trying to get my baby back home. I tried my hand at the rap game. I thought that was a way to come up, but the industry can give a crap, man. Ain't about money or drugs. Since everybody doing good hunky-dory, everybody but me. That's that part. Sees everybody doing good hunky-dory, everybody but me. They got the fairy tale internet stories, but my prince is still not free. But I'ma stay on my grind, I'ma hustle on. Keep on hoping, wishing, praying that he'll be coming home. Dreaming that I'm in his arms, I'm waking up alone. Man, I feel like giving up, but I'll keep holding on. Cause if he get out tomorrow, it wouldn't matter how long he been gone. Yeah, cause if he got out tomorrow, it wouldn't matter how long he been gone. Cause that means my praying was not in vain. I had to wait, but with patience came a triumph. So if he get out tomorrow, it wouldn't matter how long he been gone. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac. Ooh, I fumbled a little bit cause Cadillac don't even practice her verses no more. But I had it, girl. But seems like everybody's doing good hunky-dory. Everybody but me. They got them fairy tale ending ass stories, but my prince is still not free. That's how that feel, girl. When you get to see everybody exit this road and you still on this road, girl. And I have, at this point, have been a prison wife for 23 plus years. If you're going to include county jail, it's just about to be 24 years. All right. Okay. So it seems like every other prison wife really gets to exit the road and get on with their lives. Well, at least that's what it visually appears to be. So I could be wrong, but that's what, and I think that could be, for me, that could be a play of the enemy just trying to, it's almost like he tries to make you sit and watch others with what you want. But you got to kind of not get distracted because you may be receiving a blessing that somebody else wants, but because you're focusing on that blessing of him returning and that not happening, you're not counting the blessings that you do have that others would love to have, right? So we got to stay mindful. It's not easy. If you fall short, don't beat yourself up because it's human nature. It's easy to do that. That's why I have a video, Prison Wives, that comparison is the thief of joy. It really is. So we got to try not to compare ourselves, though it's hard as jail not to. It's hard to not look that way. Like, he getting out. Your man getting out. Why my man ain't getting out? And then keep your face over this way. Wait, hold on. You only got 2 more visitations till he come. Ugh, I got to stay on my, focus on me. That is hard. It is hard. It is a struggle. Okay. I say appears because over these years, I have witnessed different situations. I have seen that I have seen that day that every prison wife looks forward to come, and you happen to run into this person, and it's so amazing to see a couple that you only seen within the confines of visitation. You see them together out in the free world. But then the next time you run into one of them, you find out they're no longer together. And these be the ones you thought was going to be together forever, girl. Then on the flip side, you see the incarcerated loved one released. Then they start whatever plans they had planned. Like, you know, when the prison wife chit-chat and they's like, oh, my husband gonna do this. And then he actually starts that. Her husband gets out and he actually is implementing those things. And they are now this power couple. That for me would be Roe and Adam Clausen. I literally just came across an interview with him. Strong Prison Wives and Families. Her, oh my gosh, she made me believe again. She made me pick up the torch again. Her husband had 213 years. And it was like, because usually I'm the person that has the longest time to do with their husband. But when I see her come with 213 years, like, for real, like, that's more than this lifetime. That's more than the next lifetime and the lifetime after that, girl. And she was so beautiful, happy, and positive. I was like, hold on. My husband only has a fraction of that time. I better get back on my grind. That rhymed and I wasn't even trying. All right. And they are a power couple. Okay. So it honestly is a big risk that we take as prison wives, right? Because you don't know what to expect once he's released, right? Expect the best. You might want to prepare a little bit for the worst, though. Okay. But when you deem that person worth the risk involved, them coming home is bigger than the biggest reward. Just about that we can ever think of, or even imagine. Beginning of my husband's impossible sentence, I call it sentence impossible. I used to daydream about that day so much so that it became very difficult to stay present in the current point in time. Mindfulness, hard to stay in the present because you're in the past thinking about all the times you had, or you're in the future when all this is behind you and he's home. So you're rarely in that present time, right? I used to daydream about that day so much so that it became very difficult to stay present in the current point in time. I believe that was so because it was, I can't read my writing, girl, but I said right there. I believe that was so because it was, because I was deferring living until the day he was released and came home. So, girl, I still wouldn't be living if I was going to continue to do that. That's because that first decade, you try to figure this out, but then you end up getting the hang of living with him not in your immediate life, right? He's in your life, but he's not in your immediate circle every day, your daily circle, right? I guess that is understandable because the way my husband was ripped out of our household was really traumatic. I don't know what that say. Also, I didn't realize how many years later that incarceration I didn't realize, but many years later that incarceration, whether rightfully or wrongfully, my husband is wrongfully incarcerated, but it's going to have the same effect on you whether your husband is guilty of his crime or not. And there is no condemnation of those that are guilty of their crimes. They're doing their time and they deserve to still be treated fairly, justly, and humanely. They're not to be mistreated because they, did something that they should not have done. If there's no redemption of man, how can we deem somebody to not be redeemable? Like, who are we to? That's what we do when we sit up high and we look down low. But many of us could have been in those same shoes, in those same spots, if it were not for the grace of God, right? Many of us, rightfully or wrongfully, could be in prison. There's many people that have done things and they're still out here on these streets. They didn't get caught. Or they got the hot potato off of them, girl, and put it on somebody else, right? Okay, many years later, incarcerated, whether rightfully or wrongfully, leaves the mental damages. It leaves mental damages to not only your incarcerated loved one, because incarceration does mentally damage the person that is incarcerated, and it could be more damage over a long period of time. Even if you in prison for a little bit, it's still going to affect your life somewhat. You may be able to get past it, but once you're a long timer, it starts to. What that mean? That ain't tornado, is it? What that sound mean? What does that sound mean, girl? Okay, let me fit. I don't know what that sound mean. What is the alarm? But they still out here playing tennis. Maybe that mean they gotta get off the court. No, they still up there playing tennis though. Okay. So damages to not only the incarcerated, but also each person connected to the incarcerated citizen. Marcello's wrongful conviction. When a person is wrongfully convicted and convicted, period, their whole family goes to prison with them and does the time. We do the time out here. They do the time in there. It was a prison wife that had and I really don't remember her name at the moment. This was a long time ago. I met her on Facebook, and she referred to the wife as the outmate and the prisoner as the inmate and the outmate. This is going to affect you just as much. Many times our loved ones tend to think that they have the biggest of the burden to bear because they're in there. Oh, that rhymed and I wasn't even trying. But I best to differ, girl. I got it hard out here. It's hard out here for a prison wife. Like, who does have it harder? Because this ain't no easy life. Like, literally, they ain't going to work like that. They ain't got to get through traffic. They ain't got to worry about no bills. They ain't got to worry about the lights about to get shut off. They might have to worry about food, but even if there is no food, they still got some served. Like, girl, they ain't got to buy the kids no new clothes. They ain't got to worry about going to parent-teacher night. Like, I mean, it's a catch-22. They're missing a lot, but there are also a lot of responsibilities taken up off their shoulders, and it's added to you. So you have your responsibilities, and you have the responsibilities he would be taking care of on you. So I would think that's one of my expectations when he comes home, to be able to unload some of my burdens that I have had to bear this whole time. I became a prison wife when I was 21 years old. 20, I had our daughter. 2 months later, after getting off of bed rest, my husband was wrongfully arrested and put in jail. So since 20, and I'm about to be 44, I have had this heavy burden. Think about it. I just had a baby, and we literally planned out her whole life. We planned when he was going to see her to prom and how he was going to grill the guy, and which we're way past that. He was not present for that time. He did talk to her date on the phone or whatever. graduation and all of that. He missed that. He missed our granddaughter and grandson being born. He missed all those things, but we had planned all that out, like from the beginning of having my daughter, our daughter, and he completely was snatched. Not just taken, he was ripped out of our lives. And then I was made to just go head on and figure this out. I didn't even know how I was going to be a mother myself with just him. I'm 19 and I was 19 and pregnant. I didn't even know how I was finna get myself together, even if we stayed together. But it was like, no, it's going to be even harder than that, because it's not just you going to have to get you together. You going to have to hold this whole family together. At 19 and 20, like for real, it's almost like my life was collapsed before it can even start. So him coming home would feel like a burden, a load lifted. Financially, I always been independent. I was never one of them. I don't know, these new school women, they be about the man taking care. Now, I understand a man taking care and providing for you, but I'm not with you for no money. Like, literally, that would be, if I didn't like you and it's just you gave me money, it's like, girl, no. Like, I couldn't, how could you hold yourself together after you get the money and you spent the money, then what? You got to play pretend for the rest of the relationship. Like, I could not be with nobody for money. And I always had my own money. I was raised to be independent, which I guess many of us are raised to be independent. But I do want a man, girl. And if he were here, so I guess I'm babbling on about that because I'm like, I don't need him to take all the financials, take care of everything. But it would be nice to have him take care of some things. Like a big financial burden would be lifted because prison wife life itself is very expensive. The calls, the visitations, the overpriced food, the making sure he's good. Once he comes home, we no longer have to put money into that system. That system is a money maker. Talking about shake your money maker. That's the money maker, like for real. And we would no longer have to I would no longer have to and it would become we then, right? Financial things would be we rather than me. That would be a nice expectation. But I also got to be mindful, just getting out of prison, no work history since you were 20 to getting out at now we looked it up the other day. I pulled that Band-Aid off this wound and seeing he comes home in 2038. So 10 more years, but he still can get more game time. Florida's only 85% though. So I'm around maybe knocking another 2 years off. So maybe 10 more years, another decade. If I don't break his story, which looking like I ain't broke his story in 24 years. So do you think I'm going to break it within less than 10? But if not, about another decade. So he'll be about 57. So from age 20 for him to 57, he has no work history. So is it really, it's possible, but is it practical that he's going to get out, be able to find a job, and become productive in our household? So the first part, so that is the expectation, but the first part, he may not be able to get straight out and get on his feet. Now, I done seen many people do time, they get their little YouTube channels, and they be boom, they make it off rip. So that may or may not happen. Now, Marcello, because he is I almost want to say toxic positive person. Toxic positivity, where anything is like crushed. Even when you have real concerns, it's crushed with his positivity, which is okay. But sometimes we need to look at reality. He wrote 4 books, working on 5 or 6 at the moment, the 5th and 6th at the moment. And he's like, which I was supposed to be getting his books published. My behind is so busy that it's hard to even find time to breathe. Like, I'm like, did I breathe today? Like, girl. So I haven't gotten his books published. And I know that does hurt his heart. But I haven't even got my books published. Mine, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to build. I already can't build my dream because I'm up here, somebody's full-time worker, employee. So it's hard to help him with his dream when I can't even help myself with my dream, girl. But he says as soon as he drops, he's going to put his books out. He's going to get his books published. There's this huge demand for his books now. Everybody, he says, that has read his initial, manuscript is like, where's the next part? Where have you got it on the market yet? And he has to tell him no, he hasn't gotten it out. So speed forward, fast forward. He says that when he gets out, these books are going to drop and we're going to be set. And I pray that is what happens. But Mr. Marcello does not like to look at reality. Many people have books. And it's not like you just put it out there and it just sparks fire and takes off. That could be for some. But what if it takes a bit longer than that? What if it does take you the years of grinding, and like it did for me with music, and it never happened? Like, I just knew once my career took off, he was going to be free. I was going to have the money, the finances, the reach, the everything to get him free. And it just never happened for me. What if it's delayed? What if it's not instant gratification? You put your book out and then boom, you're making money. But I don't want to dash his, because he said he's going to, do his books, and it was something else he was saying. He has taken wastewater management classes. He's taken construction classes. My dad, I am a daughter of a construction worker. So he has certifications for that. But it's like, is he going to be able to get straight up on his feet? Really? All that noise, and it's a telemarketer. I get so sick of everyone calling this goddamn phone. It's so interruptive. It's almost, when I had my iPhone, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, girl, and I used to get so anxious when I would hear my phone ring. Like, I would be like almost like frantic and like clench down on my teeth because it would overwhelm me to get phone calls and stuff. Because it's like, it's just always someone calling, always someone needing something, always. So it got really overwhelming. And the phone still kind of does that. But if I hear that iPhone ringtone, oh my gosh, it flashes me back. But yeah, so an expectation would be to have some of my financial burden lifted. But I don't know how soon that would happen upon him getting out. And at 57, girl. But the way this economy is set up now, I don't know if we're going to be able to retire. And how could he retire when he ain't even start working yet? But we will be close to retirement age. That's crazy. That is crazy. To be in our early 20s off of teenage years when my husband's wrongfully convicted and be close to retirement once he comes home. That is crazy. But yeah, financially, I would like for some of the stressful day-to-day things to be taken off, well, shared amongst ourselves. But he's gonna have he's gonna have a lot of other mental things going on. Like, it's gonna be a shock for him coming back to this world. Now, I know he thinks he's not going to, because he always tells me I wasn't born in prison. You know, I've been free before. And I try to relate to him. I understand I was free when you were free. Well, levels to freedom. Are we truly free? But I was free then and I'm free now, and it doesn't feel the same. We are more bound now than we were in 2002. And this world is different. This is not the world you left. And he says he tries to keep up to date. He reads all he can. He keeps up with whatever articles are out. He picks the brains of anybody that just coming in off the street. But it's still going to be challenging. So mentally, my expectation is that whatever steps to therapy that would need to be done, it's going to be a lot. Oh my gosh. So for the road here to be this long, even once he gets out, that's not the end of the road. There's still another long, dark road. It's like when you get off an exit and you're not at the rest area, you're on the next highway. So that's what that's going to be. When he gets out, then we get to get on the next highway, which will be another long road. But anyways, I'm going to get home. It's your girl Cadillac. Thank you for listening to my rants.